Maayong buntag, magandang araw, good day everyone. So today we will talk about Mulbog, their ancestors, subsistence, culture, and their challenges they face. So, handa na ba kayong malaman ang makulay na kasaysayan ng ating mga kapatid na Mulbog sa Palawan? So, let's go to start the story. Let's take a look sa larawan na ito. So, do you know this island? Did you see this island before? Nakapunta na ba kayo sa lugar na to? Sa isla na yan? So, alam nyo ba kung anong meron sa isla na yan? Alam nyo ba? Yes, ito ang isla ng Balabac. So, isa sa mga magagandang isla na matatagpuan sa Palawan. Alam nyo ba na ang islang ito, dito naninirahan ng ating mga kapatid na Mulbog? Yes, the Mulbog people is an indigenous people primarily residing on Balabac Islands in the southernmost part of Palawan. So alam nyo ba kung saan nagmula ang pangalang Mulbog? The interesting fact about their name ay hango sa kulay ng dagat sa kanilang tirahan, which is the Balabac. Kung inyong makikita sa larawan, ang kulay ng dagat sa Balabac ay malabo. Their name Mulbog originate from malubog. It means malabo. So, its meaning murky or turbid water, describing the muddy water surrounding by the area or the bay area caused by flood water. So, it is according to sa article ng Ethics Groups of the Philippines 2020. Tinatawag din silang malibugan or malibuganon. So, ang ating mga kapatid na Mulbog ay deeply rooted sa nature nila. Kaya tinatawag ang tirahan nila na Balabac, which is the Balabac, as Lugta Mulbog. Diba? Interesting yung tawag nila sa kanilang tirahan, which is the Balabac, na tawag nila yung Lugta Mulbog. So, sa nakalat na impormasyon ng NCC or the National Commission of Culture and the Arts, so nakasulat sa kanilang article na na-publish noong 2022, which is the title of the article is Mulbog, the Indigenous People of Balabac. So, sinasabi sa artikulo na ito na pininiwalaan na ang mga Mulbog ay nag-migrate from the northern Borneo with a population exceeding 20,000. Yung population nila that time, nung sila ay nag-migrate dito sa Balabac, which is part of Palawan. So, kung ating babasihan ang mapang ito, makikita nyo sa screen, yung mapa na yan ay ang layo ng Borneo sa Balabac ay 50 kilometers lamang. Kaya maaaring may posibilidad na nag-migrate nga sila na galing yung ating mga kapatid ng Mulbog sa Borneo. So, pinaniwalaan na dito nagmula ang kanilang mga ancestors. And later, ang pag-usapan natin yung ancestors na yan mamaya. So, now let's focus sa the location of the Mulbog. So, dahil nga sa location ng Balabac, it makes common stopover of Tausug traders traveling between Brunei, Palawan, and Sulu to replenish their supplies. So, yun tatawag na barter. Yung barter na tinatawag. Sabihin, pupunta yung mga Tausug traders sa Brunei, Palawan, and Sulu para mag trade or makipagpalitan ng kanilang mga produkto. So doon nagsimula yung contact ng Tausug at Mulbog. So later, pag-uusapan din natin yan. In the other information, ang ating mga kapatid ng Mulbog ay matagpuan din sa iba't ibang bahagi ng munisipyo ng Palawan. So especially sa areas ng the southern part of Palawan, which is the municipality of Balabac and Batarasa, as well as in some communities in Brooks Point and Rizal.
Today, I will explain about the ancestries of the Mulbog people. If you look here, we can see southern Palawan, specifically the Balabac Island, where most Mulbog communities are found today. Now, just across the Sulu Sea on this side is the north coast of Borneo, particularly Sabah and Panggi Island. Strong evidence from both linguistic and community location shows that the Mulbog people have long-standing connection with this region of Borneo. The Mulbog language shares similarities with Bornean languages like Bungi, and this suggests that they shared common ancestral roots. Here on Bangi Island, there is also an indigenous group called the Orang Tidong. The Orang Tidong and the Mulbog people are culturally and linguistically related, meaning they shared some similar words, tradition, and ways of life. This connection supports the idea that the Mulbog people may have originated from northern Borneo and maintain close relations with groups like the Orang Tidong through migration, intermarriage, and trade. We can imagine that in the past, people regularly traveled across these waters, exchanging goods, stories, and cultural practices. Because of this connection, the Mulbog people developed a shared cultural heritage that reflect both Bornean and Palawan influences. So as the map shows, the ancestries of the Mulbog people is deeply linked to North Borneo, especially to the Orang Tidong of the Bangi Island, allowing or showing how migration and cultural exchange shaped their identity over time.
So good day everyone, now I'm going to share something interesting about the Mulbog tribe. Now, let's talk about their subsistence practices or mga paraan nila para mag-survive. So we all know that Mulbog tribe really depend on nature, right? So first was fishing. So bakit fishing? So we all know that Balabac was surrounded by ocean. So ito ang kanilang pinakapangunahing hanap buhay po. So fishing, so in their terms, it was called pangawil or pamimingwit. Fishing is not just only for their food, but also for their income dahil binebenta nila ito sa kanilang karating bayan o kundi kaya sa kanilang kapwa Mulbog. Pangalawa, aside from fishing, they do subsistence farming or pananom din sila. Small-scale farming, mostly pangkain lang nila, and they usually plant kamuting kahoy, mais, and paray o palay. Hindi ito pang business, kundi pang dagdag lang pagkain nila kapag hindi sapat ang huli nila sa dagat. Pangatlo, they do shifting cultivation o tinatawag nila itong banglay. In our term, it was called kaingin. Sweden farming ang tawag dito, kung saan maglilinis sila ng lupa or ng tanim, then after how many years ay lilipat naman sila sa ibang area. So in short, lilipat sila sa ibang area dahil nawawala ang nutrients ng lupa at aantayin naman nila ng ilang years bago maging fertile ulit ang isang lupa at ready naman itong pagtamnan. At lastly, pangapat, ang ating gathering or barter. Ito ay tinatawag nilang panalap o pagbaylo. So dito, nakikipagpalitan sila ng forest and marine products like rattan, honey, o wild honey, shells, at iba pa. Ay, pinagpapalit nila ito para sa gamit sa bahay, pangkain, at minsan naman, nag-exchange sila sa mga kapwa nila Mulbog at minsan naman doon sa Sabah, Malaysia, kung saan malapit na kanilang bayan. So all in all, we can see that Mulbog tribe they can both balance their life through sea and the land while keeping their traditions alive.
So next, let's move on to the Mulbog culture. So we have two types of culture. So there are materials and non-material culture. So katulad ng ibang indigenous group sa Palawan, our Mulbog people have a various type of culture. Makikita ito sa kanilang mga personalidad at sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay in their daily lives. So first, let's talk about their material culture. So like the other indigenous group exists in Palawan, may pagkakapari-pariho ang kanilang mga material culture pagdating sa kanilang tools na ginagamit sa paggawa ng bahay at sa kanilang mga material culture. So pagdating sa kanilang crafts, clothing, and decoration, if we notice the Mulbog tribe, they utilize natural resources such as bamboo. So yun yung karaniwang ginagamit ng mga ng mga indigenous group, which is bamboo, kasi yun lang yung free sa kanilang environment, o yun lang yung resources na pwede nilang gamitin sa paggawa ng kanilang bahay. So mayroon din silang ginagamit na rattan na kinukonstruct nila sa paggawa ng kanilang bahay. They also use their creativity to make unique basket made of bamboo and rattan. Handicrafts such as unique basket known as tingkip, yun yung tawag nila sa basket na ginagawa nila. Ito ay made of rattan for storing rice and other items are part of their culture. So in Mulbog tribe, they also have traditional clothing that is also made of bamboo. So dati yung traditional attire talaga nila or traditional clothing nila is gawa talaga sa bamboo, kasi yun nga lang yung kanilang nakikita sa yun yung gamit na pwedeng gamitin nila paggawa ng kanilang clothing. So they also put decoration made of shells on it. As you can see sa ating mapa na kanina nakikita nyo yung location ng tirahan ng mga mulbog. So sa tabing dagat sila naninirahan. So they have shells in the bay na pwede nilang gamitin as a decoration. So everything they do is handmade. So lahat yun handmade lang. And you can see that they cherish these natural resources. Like other indigenous group people and the Palawan, Mulbog people have their own instrument din na ginagamit sa kanilang rituals. They have an instrument called agong. So as you can see sa picture, it is a set of two wide-rimmed, vertically suspended gongs used para Maguindanao, Maranao, Sama Badjao, and Tausug people of the Philippines. So they also have kalintangan. Ito ay isang modernong termino na ginagamit sa ancient instrument, form of music composed on a row of small horizontal laid gongs that function melodically, accompanied by the larger suspended gongs and drums. So as you can see, makikita nyo dyan yung instrument na yan, yung tinatawag nilang kalintangan. So we also have tigongo. Ito ay isang traditional Mulbog musical instrument created by hollowed out coconut shell. So it's a tough string, o yung sobrang higpit taut strings, na yung mga sobrang higpit na strings composed of tendons or fiber from animals. So we also have kudyapi. Itong kudyapi na to, it is an instrument used by the Mulbog community and it's known for its unique boat shape. Makikita nyo naman sa picture yung structure ng instrument. The strings scrapped from animals' tendons like the tigongo na tendons and fiber of animals. So, siguro ay nagtataka kayo kung bakit may mga ganitong instrument ang ating mga kapatid na Mulbog, samantalang wala naman silang ganitong resources, di ba? Katulad na nabay ko kanina, di ba? Their resources is bamboo. Diba? Kasi yun lang yung free sa environment nila. So, bakit sila may ganitong instrument na gawa sa mga bakal, sa mga metal? So, that is because, as I said earlier, doon sa location nila, may nangyayaring trading o barter tinatawag sa pagitan ng mga Tausug and Mulbog. Sometimes, yung mga product and goods na kanilang tinitrade ay pinapalitan ng mga instrument. At yun ang dahilan kung bakit mayroon silang ganitong kagamitan. So, their instrument also ay ginagamit sa mga rituals, as I said earlier. So, napakahalaga nito sa kanilang culture.
Now, let's find out the non-material culture of Mulbog people. So, the first one is, we have the religion. So, Mulbog tribes, their population practice Islam. That is the result of ongoing contact of Tausug trader. So, the second one is the ritual. So they perform dance ritual for offering, healing, and prayers during significant events like wedding or celebration. So until now ay may mga iilan pa rin gumagawa ng mga ritual dances para ma-preserve nila yung kanilang tradition. So pangatlo ay yung superstitious. So naniniwala yung mga Mulbog people na malakas ang connection nila sa nature, particularly sa pilandok na tinatawag na mouse deer. So the fourth one is their languages. So the Mulbog people or the Mulbog tribe has a linguistic link to Sama, Tausug, and Palaweno languages. So the fifth is the health practices. So they rely on traditional healers or what we call panday and herbal medicine to treat illness even it can prevent risk. We also have a traditional dance of Mulbog. First we have Pakareng, a vibrant tradition dance of the Mulbog tribe known for the rhythmic movement and bright costumes. Runsay, a captivating show of grace, rhythm, and cultural history that frequently perform a festive event, particularly in wedding ceremony. In Mulbog, mayroon ding mga way of marriage which is dowry. Kailangang ibigay ng groom kung ano ang hinihiling ng pamilya ng babae na kung saan kailangang bayaran ng groom ang halaga ng isang brides.
Hi everyone! Today we're gonna talk about the environmental challenges faced by the Mulbog people. So the first one, the displacement from their ancestral land. So the Mulbog people experience displacement from their ancestral territories due to large corporations seeking to establish projects such as coconut plantation and ecotourism facilities. This displacement disrupts their traditional way of farming and fishing practices which are central to their livelihood and culture. So, bakit nga ba ito kabilang sa environmental challenges? So, halina't pag-usapan natin. So, una, nang palayasin ang ating mga kababayang Mulbog mula sa kanilang lupaing ninuno na wala ang kanilang tradisyonal na pangangalaga sa kalikasan. Pangalawa, nang palitan ng malaking korporasyon ng coconut plantation ang kanilang lupaing sakahan at pangisdaan, nasira ang lupain na ito kung kaya't nagdulot ng pagkawala ng biodiversity at tuluyang pagkasira ng natural na yaman na dati inaalagaan ng ating mga mamayang Mulbog. Nauunawaan? Alright, now let's move on to the second. The second one is all about the over-harvesting of shellfish. So in 1950s, when many immigrants arrived, their farmland became damaged. They were forced to depend on fishing and gathering shellfish for survival. They intentionally select shellfish for cash income and selling them to purchase rice from the immigrants. So sa madaling sabi, nang dumagsa nga ang napakaraming imigrante mula sa kanilang lugar, ang mga kababayan nating Mulbog ay napilitan na lamang tuloy na dumepende sa pangunguha ng shellfish at pangingisda. At dahil dito, tumaas ang demand dito sa merkado kung kaya't nagkaroon tuloy ng labis na pangunguha na naging dahilan ng pagkaubos ng yamang dagat at pagkakaroon ng hindi balanse sa kalikasan. Ang labis na pressure mula sa ating marine resources ay hindi lamang nakakaapekto sa kapaligiran, kundi pati na rin sa kanilang tradisyonal na kabuhayan at pagkakakilanlan. So, pangatlo. So, the third one is all about the destructive fishing practices. So, Palawan youth, especially the students from Balabac, Palawan, write stories on raising awareness on how to protect reef, forests, and wildlife. One Mulbog student shared that her father, once a dynamite fisher, shifted to safer fishing after an accident. In Balabac, Palawan, illegal fishing method like dynamite and cyanide can damage the coral reef, reduce fish population, and also endangered the both environment and the lives of the fisher folk. So, bakit nga rin ba ito kabilang sa environmental challenges? So, isa-isahin natin. So, alam naman natin na ang paggamit ng illegal sa pangingisda ay nakakasira sa ating marine resources. Kung kaya't nagiging dahilan ito ng tuluyang pagkaubos ng mga endangered species, gaya na lamang ng maming at lapu-lapu. At dahil din dito, nagbabawasan tuloy ang huli ng ating mga mangingisda sa paglipas ng panahon na siyang nakakaapekto sa kanilang kabuhayan. Bukod pa rito, ang paggamit ng iligal na pangingisda ay hindi lamang nakakasira sa ating kalikasan. Ito rin ay nakakaapekto o nakakasira sa buhay ng mga mangingisda. Ayun lamang, maraming salamat po.
Now, let's talk about socio-culture challenges. First, threats to cultural integrity via misinterpretation. Mulbog leaders exposed another group, which is Sambilog, staging their cultural performances to falsely claim an indigenous status. So there are a group of people, which is the Sambilog, like what I said, they are falsely claiming the identity of Mulbog people by staging cultural indigenous status. Paano nga ba natin nasabi na ito ay kasama sa socio-culture challenges? Kasi po, naaapektuhan nito ang authentic identity at kultura ng mga kapatid nating Mulbog na siyang core o sentro ng kanilang social at cultural life. The second socio-culture challenges of Mulbog people is cultural erosion and modernization. The younger generation of Mulbog people influenced by modern life and outside cultures. And they are not maintaining this custom at the same rate as before. So, the traditional Mulbog practices like ritual dances, weaving, and food tradition are slowly fading as younger generation adopt modern influences instead of continuing their heritage. Bakit kaya ito kasama sa socio-culture challenges? Kasi po, naaapektuhan ang pagpapatuloy ng tradisyon at pagbabago ng social practices at ng kanilang value sa kanilang komunidad. Ibig sabihin, unti-unti na pong nababawasan o nawawala ang kanilang cultural identity at maaaring sa paglipas ng panahon ay mawala na po ang kanilang tradisyon at kultura.
Today, let's talk about the economic challenges of Mulbog. I'll be sharing about the economic challenges na hinaharap ng Mulbog community sa Balabac, Palawan. These challenges are really important kasi they affect not just their income but also their daily survival and way of life. So first, let's talk about loss of ancestral land and livelihoods. The Mulbog ancestral land is slowly disappearing dahil sa mga ecotourism projects at resort developments. So ano nga ba ang ecotourism projects at resort developments? These are projects built for tourism and businesses. Good for economy at tourism. Pero ang downside nito is nawawala yung access ng indigenous people gaya ng Mulbog sa kanilang sariling lupain. Kung sa iba maganda ito kasi nga nakaka-attract ng tourism. Para naman sa mga Mulbog, malaking problema ito kasi nga dito nakadepende ang kanilang kabuhayan like fishing and seaweed farming. So once mawala ang lupa at dagat na pinagkukunan nila ng kanilang hanap buhay, nawawala rin ang main source of food and income ng buong pamilya. So pangalawa naman, armed intimidation and economic disruption. There are reports na yung ibang security forces or armed groups na konektado sa private corporation ay nananakot at nanghaharas ng Mulbog. So instead of working peacefully sa fishing or farming, they are forced to live in fear kasi nga laging may kaba na baka may masamang mangyari sa kanila. So dahil dito, hindi sila makapag-focus sa kanilang hanap buhay. So this constant harassment doesn't just create fear. It also disrupts their daily source of income and weakens their community livelihood. And lastly, the restricted fishing grounds. So noong 2005, diniklara ang Balabac as a marine ecoregion. Good thing ito for the environment. Pero para sa mga Mulbog is malaking pagsubok ito. Dahil hindi na sila basta makapangisda sa kanilang traditional fishing areas na pinanggagalingan ng kanilang pagkain at kita. Since fishing ang main source of their livelihood, kapag restricted ito, sobrang naapektuhan ang kanilang daily survival at kabuhayan. So overall, the Mulbog face serious economic challenges. losing their ancestral land, living fear because of armed intimidation, and being restricted from their own fishing grounds. All of these economic challenges make it really hard for them to earn for living and live their families and preserve their culture.